The twin sons of Ashkar Prime beat down mercilessly on the Crimson Barrens, turning the cracked earth into a furnace that could cook meat in minutes. Nothing grew here. Nothing lived here. It was a place where starships dumped their waste, where exiles came to die, and where the galaxy's unwanted were forgotten. Nira smelled the blood before she saw the infant. The ancient dragon had been hunting razorbacks near the canyon's edge when the scent caught her. Nostrils, a mixture of copper, desperation, and something she hadn't encountered in 3 centuries: human. Her massive wings cast shadows across the wasteland as she descended, her scaled body shimmering like molten bronze in the harsh light. There, wrapped in tattered cloth and left in the shadow of a crashed escape pod, lay a human baby. The child couldn't have been more than a few days old, its skin already blistering from exposure, its cries weak and fading. Nira's golden eyes narrowed. She had seen countless species come and go across the stars, but humans, those fragile, stubborn creatures, always managed to surprise her with their capacity for both cruelty and resilience. The baby should have been dead. By every logical measure, it would be dead within the hour. Nira lowered her great head, her breath washing over the infant like a warm wind. The baby's eyes, impossibly blue against its reddened skin, opened and locked onto hers. No fear, no recognition of the apex predator looming above, just a primal need to survive. Foolish hatchling, Nira rumbled, her voice like grinding stones. Your kind abandoned you to the void. The baby reached up with tiny fingers grasping at nothing. Dragons did not save. Dragons did not nurture anything but their own kind. The code of flame, ancient as starlight itself, forbade the raising of lesser species. To break it would mean exile from the conclave, perhaps even death. Nira had lived by that code for 800 years. She lifted the baby anyway. The caverns beneath the barrens were vast networks carved by ancient lava flows, now cooled into obsidian halls that reflected firelight like mirrors. Nira's lair occupied the largest chamber, a cathedral of stone where treasures from 1,000 worlds gathered dust. She laid the infant on a bed of thermal moss, the only soft thing in a domain of hard edges. The baby was dying. Dehydration, starvation, radiation poisoning from the dual suns, the list was long. Human infants required specific nutrients, temperature regulation, and constant care. Nira possessed none of these things. But she possessed dragon milk. The luminescent fluid that dragons produced to feed their own young was legendary. Rich with proteins that could regenerate tissue, packed with minerals that strengthened bone, laced with trace elements that boosted immune systems to supernatural levels. It was also violently toxic to most non-dragon species. Most. Not all. Nira had heard rumors, centuries ago, of a human soldier who survived drinking dragon milk during a desperate siege. The story claimed he'd emerge stronger, faster, able to withstand temperatures that would melt steel. She'd dismissed it as wartime propaganda. Now, watching the infant's chest rise and fall in shallow gasps, she reconsidered. Live or die, little ember, she whispered, allowing a few drops of her milk to fall onto the baby's lips. Let us see what you are made of. The infant's name became Kale. Though Nira didn't choose it, she found it etched on a metal band around his wrist. Perhaps the only thing his parents had left him besides life itself. Kale didn't die. Against all biological probability, he thrived. The dragon milk transformed him in ways Nira couldn't have predicted. His skin, once fragile and prone to burning, developed a faint iridescence that deflected the worst of the heat. His bones grew dense and strong, his muscles developing with a speed that defied human biology. By the time he could walk, he could survive temperatures that would kill any other member of his species. But it was his eyes that changed most dramatically. The blue deepened to an almost violet hue, and in certain light, they reflected like a dragon's, catching and holding flames, seeing in spectrums beyond human perception. Nira taught him to hunt razorbacks across the barrens, to track by scent and heat signature. She taught him the language of dragons, not the simplified version other species learned, but the true flame tongue, with all its nuance and ancient poetry. She taught him that strength without wisdom was merely violence, and that survival demanded respect for the world that hosted you. Kale learned quickly. Too quickly. By his 5th year, he could navigate the lava tubes without light. By his 10th, he could bring down prey twice his size. By his 15th, he understood that he was neither human nor dragon, but something unprecedented, a bridge between fire and flesh. "Why did they leave me?" he asked one evening, as they sat watching the twin suns set in spectacular crimson and gold. Nira was silent for a long moment. "Because your kind fears what it cannot control. They saw weakness where I saw potential. They saw burden where I saw possibility. And what do you see now?" The ancient dragon regarded her foundling, this impossible child who had survived against all odds. "I see something the galaxy has never encountered. I see the future walking on 2 legs instead of 4. I see what happens when humanity's stubborn refusal to die meets a dragon's fire." Kale smiled, and in the fading light, his teeth caught the sun's rays like polished gems, another gift from the dragon milk that ran through his veins. "The stars rejected you, Kale," Nira said softly. "But I did not. Remember that when you finally walk among them again. Remember that humanity is not defined by those who abandon, but by those who endure." The young man nodded, his dragon-raised eyes scanning the horizon where somewhere beyond the wasteland, his original species continued their endless expansion across the cosmos. They would meet again, humanity and their wayward son, and when they did, they would learn what Nira had discovered in the Crimson Barrens. Humans were already dangerous. Humans raised on dragon milk were something else entirely, something magnificent, something terrifying, something that would remind the galaxy why Earth's children had earned both fear and respect among the stars.